Alright, so the Eagles just got some massive news as it looks like they're about to receive a major boost on defense in the form of a key defender making his return to action, but just how big of an impact will he actually be able to have? Meanwhile, Quinyon Mitchell continues to put the NFL on notice, as not only is he now the favorite to win a highly coveted award, but Eagles legend Brian Dawkins also had some very high praise for the Rook. Plus, Jalen Hurts was just attacked with about the weirdest criticism of all time, while Brandon Graham seems to think that there's a possibility that he could return if the Eagles get to the Super Bowl, so we're going to talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And let's start this off with about the weirdest bit of criticism that I've heard all season long, as following the Eagles' impressive win over the Steelers, in which Jalen Hurts in the passing game really got going, I guess the media was finding it kind of difficult to find something to criticize Jalen for this time, to the point where we ended up with former NFL corner Domonique Foxworth making this just flat out weird statement on ESPN's Get Up.
Jalen Hurts is benefiting from pretty privilege. Because he got up on that the press conference after the game, and he acted like he was Josh Allen. Look at this man. Man, you had one good week passing, and everyone forgets it when he started batting his eyes at you. I could see Graziano in the meeting got all uncomfortable. Was like, oh, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Yeah.
Dude, what are we even talking about at this point? Like, I'm not even mad. I just find it hilarious that Foxworth actually said this on national TV. Like, how did we get to the point where an actual analyst and sports TV personality went on the air and reached so far as to say that people are giving Jalen Hurts more credit than he deserves because of quote-unquote pretty privilege? Like, that's just an absolutely insane thing to say, and it makes you wonder just how far these guys will go to discredit Hurts. Like, that's just a crazy take, man. Like, I just cannot believe that somebody actually went on TV and said that. However, Foxworth's comments probably are a little bit less surprising when you realize that not only is he the cousin of Dak Prescott, but some people on the internet have also speculated that it may have stemmed from maybe some comments that Foxworth's own wife made about Jalen Hurts at some point. Personally, I'm not going to say that because you really don't know, and I'm certainly also not going to come after Foxworth's marriage or his wife because I think that's just flat out wrong. But at the end of the day, whether Foxworth's wife's comments have any validity in this situation, I just think we can all agree that what he said about QB1 is really pretty strange, and it's definitely one of the weirdest attempts to discredit somebody that I've ever seen. But hey, nobody likes us and we don't care, right? And the truth is that Hurts has been playing some really good and efficient football during the Eagles' winning streak, regardless of the role that he's been playing. Like, it doesn't matter if he's throwing the ball a lot like he did this past Sunday against the Steelers, or if the game plan is to focus more on the run game with Saquon Barkley and Hurts has to take a step back. I mean, no matter what he's been asked to do, he's played well, he's been efficient, and he hasn't turned the football over. And if you want statistical evidence of Hurts' efficient play, just look at his passer rating numbers ever since the bye week, because they're pretty impressive. And the fact of the matter is, without Hurts and the brand of football that he's been playing, the Eagles simply are not on this 10-game win streak right now, plain and simple. And head coach Nick Sirianni made sure to give Jalen credit for that and his efficient play on Monday.
I think it just says how efficient he's been playing quarterback. There's a reason a couple weeks ago I said, I mean, you know, Jalen should be up for the MVP discussions. I mean, you win 10 games in a row and you touch the ball every down. You know, I get that we haven't thrown for a lot of yards, but he's been so efficient. He's done such a great job of playing quarterback. I can't say enough. Like, just things that are kind of unseen too, like the way he's handled situational football. You don't win 10 games in a row without your quarterback playing really well, and our quarterback's playing really well, and he's been playing really well for the last couple months.
I think that's very well said, and it's pretty hard to argue with any of those points that Sirianni made. And again, I mean, Hurts has just been doing what he needs to do to help the team win, and it's been at a high level for the most part, so he definitely deserves credit for that. But now, moving on, we did just get a pretty interesting development regarding Brandon Graham, as of course we all know that BG unfortunately suffered what was immediately reported to be a season-ending injury when he tore his tricep against the Rams in Week 12, leaving zero hope that he could return for a playoff run or even a possible Super Bowl appearance. However, in an appearance on WIP Radio yesterday, BG didn't rule out the possibility of him returning to action in the event that the Birds do go to the Super Bowl.
Any chance of you being back if the team reaches the Super Bowl? Like, in your early weeks of rehabbing, is it possible or is it off the table?
Man, anything is possible, so that's how I'm gonna feel. That's how I'm gonna feel it in. But just know we working, trying to see what happens. We got to get there. And so I guess I'll be ready to tell you that when I get there.
Understood. Fair enough.
Do you see the smile on his face?
I do.
Just saying.
That would be so sweet. And then, boy, go out there, put your left hand again on that ball, man. The one that you hurt, it's like, boy, nah. But I am working. We working. the Eagles organization, top notch. Just helping guys get back in. So I'm excited to see where we at that time.
There's absolutely no doubt that everybody would love to see BG back out there playing if the Birds do make it to the Super Bowl. And I love the fact that he's remaining optimistic about things and not ruling anything out. That being said, though, a BG return to action, even if it is just for the Super Bowl, is extremely unlikely to nearly impossible, as the timeline to return from the injury that BG has is typically around 6 months, and the Super Bowl falls about 2.5 months after the injury occurred. So, again, unless BG heals at a superhuman pace, this simply will not happen, but hey. It doesn't hurt to be optimistic, I guess, and we'll just have to wait and see if BG can defy the odds or not. But moving on, I guess the silver lining of BG's devastating injury is that it's helped to speed up the development of Nolan Smith, as the second-year man out of Georgia has been on an upward trajectory really all season, but ever since BG went out, he seems to have elevated his game even more. As out of everybody on the defensive line, Nolan has seen the biggest uptick in snaps since BG's injury, and he's made the most of it, as he has had 2 sacks in the 3 games since that injury happened, and both the Steelers and Ravens games were some of the best performances of his career. And on the season, Smith now has a total of 5.5 sacks, and I'm pretty confident that he's not done yet. So it's just been awesome to see the development of Nolan Smith right in front of our eyes, to the point where he's now a very, very important piece of this Eagles defense. And on Tuesday, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio talked about Nolan's development and praised him for it in his weekly press conference.
No, he's done a good job of improving each and every day. Maybe not each and every day, but each and every week, from the start of OTAs through training camp, and he's really taken it and put it on himself to improve and learn his position, learn the techniques of his positions, learn the ins and outs of his position that can help him make a play or two. And as we know, he's got good speed, he's a good athlete, and he's been able to amp up his physicalness to, make up for his lack of size, ideal size for the position.
Again, it's just been super awesome and exciting to watch the growth and development of Nolan Smith this entire season, especially after all the doubt there was surrounding him before the season. So again, shout out to him for getting better and proving all the doubters wrong. But like Nolan's development, something else that's really exciting is that the Eagles defense is about to receive a boost in the form of another edge rusher returning to action. So don't worry, we're going to get into that and more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage or content I got coming on this channel. I cover the Birds pretty much daily here, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Eagles news, this is the spot. So again, subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support as well, because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 700 likes today. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So the Eagles have obviously been pretty thin at edge rusher ever since BG went out with his injury, as they've been rotating just 3 guys at that spot over the last 3 weeks in Josh Sweat, the previously mentioned Nolan Smith, and the rookie Jalen Hurts. And I can honestly say that all 3 of those guys have stepped up and performed well with the other injuries at that position. That being said, though, it certainly wasn't an ideal situation for the Birds to be playing just 3 guys at that position, which is why it's such great news that they're about to see the return of another edge rusher. As today, the Birds announced that they have officially opened the 21-day practice window for Bryce Huff to make his return off IR, as of course back in week 12, Huff was placed on IR before the Rams game, as he ended up having to get surgery to repair some sort of damage to his hand and wrist that, if you'll remember, caused him to have to wear this huge cast on that hand for several weeks before he eventually did decide to get surgery. But now Huff is finally back, and personally, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I mean, sure, if you just look at the raw numbers and specifically his sack total, Huff has not lived up to the hype of being one of Howie Roseman's top free agent signings from this past spring, but that doesn't exactly tell you the full story, because before Huff did get injured, he was starting to trend in the right direction, as he was all of a sudden starting to get pressures on the quarterback, and he even got home on a couple occasions for sacks. And then even after he got injured, Huff still was making an impact in a much more limited role, and there was no better example of that than the Cowboys game, where in just 12 snaps, I believe, Huff got multiple pressures, he got a sack, which also was a sack fumble, and he ended up being the Eagles' highest graded player for that game. So now that he's coming back fully healthy and the defense is playing at an extremely high level, I personally think that Huff has a chance to make a real impact and bounce back from the rough start to his Eagles tenure. And today, Nick Sirianni seemed excited about the possibility of getting Huff back as well.
Bryce is a good player, and we look forward to getting him back. Just don't know when that quite will be quite yet.
Before the injury, he obviously probably wasn't super thrilled with the way his season was going. What did you see from him? How did he handle that?
Yeah, I actually think Bryce has been a good teammate, and for us, he's had moments of having good, playing well. I thought he was, really doing a good job and making some plays. Thinking back to the Dallas game, the big sack he had I think it was the Dallas game, right? They had a big sack, and he's been able to get pressure. We're excited when we are able to get him back. We're excited to have him back in there and rolling.
Again, I'm excited to get Huff back in here, but what do you guys think? Just how big of an impact do you see Bryce Huff having on this defense? You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But now, getting to somebody who clearly has made a huge impact on the defense, we look at the rookie corner Quinyon Mitchell, who just continues to garner more and more attention and praise with each passing week, because what he's been doing as a rookie is just unreal. I mean, he still has yet to be credited with allowing a touchdown, and he's locked down pretty much every receiver he's faced regardless of how good they are. And I think it's clear that he's already one of the best corners in the game, not even fully through his rookie season. And it seems like Eagles legend Brian Dawkins would fully agree with that statement, as he just had some really high praise for Q in a recent appearance on Up and Adams.
And it's nice to see the secondary getting its shine. They're the talk of the town. What impresses you most about those young DBs?
Well, number one is the aggressiveness of each one of them. All of the young guys that have been put in, and their willingness to go and stay aggressive throughout the game, right? And as far as, and I'm pretty sure you're talking about that Quinyon outside, as far as his island is concerned, his ability to do what he's doing at a young age, man, like that is not normal. That is not the normal that you see a young guy coming in. And I will tell you from what I see, and this is a message to him, like when he begins to find the football and pick it, it's going to take us to another level that they literally will not want to throw his side. When he begins to find the ball on the regular and be able to pick those, not just have PBUs, but have interceptions, they will not challenge his side.
Comments like that coming from a guy like Dawkins certainly hold a lot of weight, and it seems like he's finally starting to fully get the credit that he deserves when it comes to the race for Defensive Rookie of the Year, as he recently just moved up to become the slight favorite for that award over the Rams edge rusher Jared Verse. So hopefully Q can hang on there and win that award, but we'll just have to wait and see how things play out over these final 3 games. And you guys already know that I'm going to be continuing to cover this team in depth throughout the rest of the year. So again, if you guys don't want to miss any of that, then make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, again, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support, because it really does help me a ton. Again, let's see if we can get to 700 likes today. And also leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another Eagles video going over some stuff from earlier in the week, you can check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.